Okay, let me start by acknowledging that we are here also with the full blessings of the Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Kenya, the Most Reverend Dr. Jackson Ole Sapit, who is ably represented by Professor Galgalo, the Bishop of the Diocese of Nairobi, the Right Reverend Joel Waweru, the Vicar of the ACK Church, St. Mark's Westlands, Canon Joshua Omungo, distinguished guests and entrepreneurs, and so that I can walk away without being bullied, Madam Charity Ngilo. Ladies and gentlemen, when I received the invitation to grace this occasion, I was fairly intrigued to no end. I could not quite fix my mind on what the church was doing, holding a conference on transforming lives through entrepreneurship. Most of us grew up on the religious teachings that the church's main aim or role is to transform spiritual lives. So after initial consternation and conflicting thoughts, curiosity got the better of me. I am determined that I will come here to understand how the church nourishes the secular aspects of the faithful. Now I know enough about the new gospel that addresses the wholeness of the human being in both spiritual and material needs. I am therefore impressed that the ACK St. Mark's Church has organized this 3-day conference as part of the church's important role in social support to the community. The journey of entrepreneurial stimulation through empowerment and education by this church will have the multiplier effect of increasing social connections between the church and society. Entrepreneurship also benefits the church in expanding its spiritual catchment area of the faithful. Indeed, religious studies show that church gatherings create good networks. Interacting with others of the same faith cultivates shared values and increases bonds that are conducive to entrepreneurship development. I laud the church for its magnanimity in stepping into the entrepreneurship development space. This action is akin to partnership with government in growing a critical mass of entrepreneurs. This is particularly critical at this time when we face many challenges, including a stagnant economy, negative impacts of the climate change, disruptions in the global supply chains, and lack of jobs for our young people that cumulatively result in high costs of living. Under the bottom-up transformation economic agenda, BETTER, the government places high premium on the need for entrepreneurial skills in agriculture, SMEs, manufacturing, and affordable housing. Entrepreneurial education dovetails very well in developing offtake skills in these sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe it is God who gives us power to create wealth. Faith can enable you scale the highest mountains of human development. It is because of this belief that countries all over the world cannot countenance interfering with the freedom of worship. For if God creates, who are we mere mortals to deny worship? Now I want to take these next paragraphs very slowly, please listen carefully. However, freedom of worship comes with corresponding responsibility. That's why we have organized religious faith that guards against cultism. As a country, we are on the throes of shock at what false prophecy and the prosperity gospel can do. Shakahola murders of the innocent lured into false prophecy that divine intervention would result in economic emancipation. In some of these fake prosperity cults, innocent Kenyans are impoverished by being lured to surrender all their property to the false prophets in the belief that earthly wealth is evil. If wealth is evil, why do these false prophets appropriate the wealth of their flock? This, we must accept, is utter criminal fraud. None can defend such actions under freedom of worship. We must call them for what they are: conmen. It therefore falls on the religious community to not only condemn it, but to also ensure the rise of these cults do not germinate in society. This is what it means by self-regulation. It is scandalous for some of these devious denominations to acquire wealth without working for it. The Bible in 2 Thessalonians verses 3 to 10 says it all. And I quote, "The one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. So why do you allow those unwilling to work under doomsday prophecy to eat freely from the sweat of others?" This initiative shows that the ACK St. Mark's is willing to work. And I repeat that. This initiative shows that the ACK St. Mark's is willing to work. Other faiths and denominations should take cue and play a role in entrepreneurship development to nurture appropriate attitudes and well-being of jobs and wealth creation, which will contribute to sustaining the growth of the faith. As a government, creation of jobs through enterprise remains our top priority as a means to enhance people's buying power to cope with the high cost of living dynamics. Our immediate agenda is to create a favorable business and enterprise environment and support the formal and informal sectors of our economy. For the informal sector, we purpose to organize them into stable, viable, and credit-worthy business entities. Towards this end, I wish to call upon the captains of industry represented here to adopt and popularize the digital economy in all sectors. This will help our people to embrace the opportunities in digital space as a gateway to making Kenya globally competitive and enhancing job creation in the country. I must also say that I'm encouraged to note that in this forum, other public agencies have been invited to share their mandates and activities as part of education and awareness creation. I call upon all relevant government ministries, departments, and agencies to piggyback on ACK St. Mark's Westlands entrepreneurship agenda and partner in a post-conference agenda. This would encompass partnership in co-financing, mobilization of beneficiaries, and creation of the necessary infrastructural conditions that favor entrepreneurship. It is now my pleasure to declare the Entrepreneurship Conference 2023 officially opened. Thank you and God bless you.
Wow, excellent.
Thank you. Just 2 minutes and then I walk off the podium. I did not just say those words. I want to tell you that I gave them a lot of reflection. You are on the right track. We all have to emulate you. Now, there are two small parables that I shall give. I don't know how many of you have had an opportunity to visit some place in China, and sometimes you have a floating bridge. If you try to cross it, you don't know whether you'll get across or not, but it shakes. Now, there's the parable of an elephant and a mouse crossing that bridge. Now, because the mouse was so worried about this bridge, it jumped onto the back of the elephant. And as they crossed, the bridge was really swaying. When they got across, the mouse, because it likes boasting, they said, "You people, did you see how the elephant and I shook the bridge?" The economy is a big elephant. The way you start, don't despair, because the more of us work together, the more we scale this big economic hurdle that we have, and the more we shake it for the better and for the growth of the country. So no matter how small you start, I heard the way Madame talked here. She may have started as a mouse, but today she can say she truly shakes the bridge. So take that to the bank. The second parable comes from actually the hewers of wood in the Americas in the early days, the days of Abraham Lincoln. And of course, to cut down a tree before the saw came, it was the axe. So sometimes to fell a tree was extremely difficult. There will be so many blows being struck on that tree before it is brought down. So the first 10 people struck their blows. The next 20 people came and struck their blows. It was the last one who then struck the final one, and the tree fell down. And he said, "Did you see how I brought down that tree?" Is it true he brought it down alone? That means the first strike just counts as much as the last strike. So together, if we strike, if we work in consonance, we shall fell this huge tree of unemployment, of the high cost of living, of the difficulty that we are facing in this country. And indeed, you have seen that not too long ago, when we thought the challenge is here, you will see that by last night, yesterday, both the United States and the Central Bank of England were raising interest rates to 5%, which is very high. So as much as we think we are just about to get out of the woods, the world economic situation is again taking a downturn. Because when those interest rates are being raised by these huge economies, they are again going to impact on us. Therefore, because I'm in charge, I'll repeat what I said not too long ago in Parliament, that we are facing difficult times. But do not be cheated that we can get out of those difficult times in 6 months. I did say that we must brace ourselves for some hard times. It could take us up to 2.5 years to see the downturn. We never knew that the war in Ukraine would take this long. All these are going to impact here. But we must, as a nation, work together, and we must, at the same time, know that if we do so faithfully, honestly, with dedication and commitment, we shall be able to get out of this thing, because no bad situation is permanent. Even bad situations come to an end. And the bad situation that we may be going through will surely come to an end. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are my 2 short parables. I hope they make sense as I congratulate the ACK Church for leading the way and helping us navigate through these difficult times. God bless you all. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency. Sorry, let's appreciate His Excellency. Please, let's appreciate